Hello everybody, Andy here again. Right, this is another one of those NoCon videos. I did 2 or 3 a couple of weeks ago, but Bill TV Macon, the guy who started this whole idea, has decided to sort of raise a question every couple of weeks or so, and this is the first set of questions. Now, for anyone who's watched my videos in the past, I will be answering some questions that I've answered in the past. So if you come across something you think, I already know that, I won't be offended if you move on, but it might be helpful for anyone else, and obviously the people who are watching these sort of responses that are coming in, or the conversation that's going on. All the questions are about YouTube himself, and the first one is why did you open your YouTube channel in the first place? Well, I've just had a look because I realised that I'm coming up to sort of my anniversary on YouTube. I opened my YouTube channel on the 14th of August 2006. Yes, getting on for 4 years, so I've been here for a fair amount of time now, that sort of class of 2006. Why did I open the channel? When I started watching videos on YouTube like anybody else, I don't know how I actually found it, probably, you know, by accident, or by, I think I started watching what some channel used to be called Google videos, surprisingly enough, and ironically enough, I suppose. Watched some on there, and that maybe led me on to YouTube. Saw some of the silly videos like everybody else has watched, and then I don't know how, but I suddenly found the vloggers on YouTube, and the first 2 people that I actually ever subscribed to were Peter, Geriatric 1927, and Paul Renato. Peter, Geriatric 1927, was just about to hit the big time. I think he just about made his first ever video, his first try video, and I remember watching that, getting involved and thinking, well, I'm watching some of his other videos that he just made, and then Renato had done responses to that, and that's how I found it, and found those 2, and I thought, this is quite interesting, just ordinary people just talking about their lives and opening up to the world and that sort of thing, and that's got me interested. My first ever video was actually a response to Peter, Geriatric 1927. I can't remember which video it was in particular, but it was just, I think it was like a support thing, I think, because at that time he got all that sudden fame. It must have been a hell of a shock to him, you know, a sort of 78-year-old man, as I believe he was at the time, trying out something, and then suddenly his video goes viral and it was getting a million views or something like that. Must have been a great shock, and he probably got all the trolling and the hatred that unfortunately goes with all that sort of thing. And I think he was thinking of leaving, and my video was sort of, you know, please stay here, you know, you're an inspiration type of thing. And that's exactly what it was. It was an inspiration to me. I then dug below the surface, like lots of other people that I know, started making their own videos. I said the first couple that I made were really just responses to other people, and it's sort of finding your feet, and then you think, well, actually I quite like doing this, and then I started to sort of explore a bit more, actually put my own videos out there, my own sort of topics, my own subjects. I've been involved, and I've always had this sort of idea of doing this type of thing. I've done a bit of DJing on the radio and things like that, so I'm quite happy to talk into a microphone. I'm quite happy to be able to talk at will, shall we say, and I've always had an inquisitive mind and lots of interest in that, so I had things to talk about, what I thought, so anyway, and so that's what got me into it. So that's really the reason that I started. The next question, which sort of leads on from that as well, is, was the feedback what you expected? Well, I didn't really know what to expect. I'd seen obviously what had happened with Paul and with Peter as well, and they became big time players, as did some of the other people that I was watching at the time, whether they just be vloggers or other sort of small time video makers, I suppose, hobbyists for want of a better word, and it may have developed into something else. This sort of gave them an outlet for their sort of talents and their thoughts, etc. And as I said in one of the other videos, you got all these video makers who'd never had an opportunity. This was a chance for them to put their work out there into the wider world, and sort of, you know, you throw enough stuff at something, every so often something will stick, might get featured, and then it leads you on, and, you know, fair play to people, it's given them an opportunity they never would have had before. So the reaction I had at first, I was, you know, I think it's amazing, that first ever comment that you get, the first good comment that you ever get, and you think, well, actually someone's watching this. You notice the amount of views you're getting, which wasn't very big. Quite happy to admit that I wasn't going to get into the league of Paul or Peter's league, anything like that. But it's still gratifying, and it's nice to know that people actually watch it, and then you get your first few subscribers or something, and you think, well, actually, you know, as I said, people are listening to this. So I didn't really know what to expect either with the channel itself or especially with the feedback. So everything was a surprise. I didn't really know what I was letting myself in for. I was feeling my way because it was new then. It wasn't as though if I'd have got into it now, I would have known about YouTube. Back in 2006, it was still relatively new, still relatively unknown. It's still unknown to a lot of people now, especially the vlogging side. But even then, it was the wild west of the internet. Obviously, nobody knew what was going on, and there was loads of stuff going on, and then it was new to everybody. We were all finding our feet. The vloggers, the hobby video makers, or whatever you want to call them, the comedians, and that all those people that a lot of them are big YouTube stars now. That's the sort of time that they started. So I don't know if we really expected to get any particular feedback. As I said, if I started now, I pretty well know what to expect or hope that I would get back. So anyway, the next question. If you could change anything about how you did it, what would it be? Well, I'm very happy with the fact that I started when I did. I felt that, and I still do, that it was a bit of a golden age at that sort of time because everyone getting into it. Yes, there's still loads of people coming along now who are very good, but we all know the way that the site's changed, as I mentioned in one of the other videos about what's next for YouTube. A lot of people do look back at that sort of time because it was a bit more free and easy. It wasn't so commercialised. Things move on, I accept that, and I'm sure there's loads of people who hate all of us sort of 2006 people talking about that, but it was a bit different. It was far smaller, it was far more enclosed, and that community aspect that Bill spoke about in his initial video was one of the things that amazed me. I didn't really get into that straight away. It took me a few months, I say, finding my feet, building myself up a little bit, and then I got into making collaboration videos, whether it be sort of being invited into them or getting involved. And the thing that's really got me involved with the whole idea of YouTube was a collaboration video that I made in April, I think it was, of 2007. I've never really interacted particularly with people. I can't even remember if I really answered comments specifically. So that is the one thing that I would change if I could go back. It hasn't mattered, things have gone on. But I would suggest to anybody is to, if you want to build up that reaction, if you want to build up that interactivity, that sort of community, and become a part of the community, you need to be a part of it yourself. You need to make the effort. You need to actually answer the people's comments. The people who've come along, they've watched your videos, they've subscribed to you, they've taken the time to do all of that, and then to add a respectable comment. It's only good that you should answer that comment. If you're not bothered, fair enough, but if you do want to sort of get involved or even get noticed, if you want to put it that way, then that's the sort of thing you need to do. I wish that I'd done that a bit earlier. As it happens, in some ways it didn't matter, but that's my only sort of regret, I suppose. I didn't get involved in that side of things a bit earlier than I did, but I can't complain. Once that sort of collaboration video came along and I got involved in some of the community, started sort of getting out there, I suppose, and interacting, whether it be via messages or even via emails and all that sort of stuff, it becomes far more personal. It goes on to another level then, I think, and that's what really got me and dragged me into it. And I think that's something that I really appreciate about that. Well, yes, people go on about the community now. It's a different type of community. There's still communities out there. I'm still interacting with new people all the time. Some of the older people aren't there, but now I'm interacting with them in real life, boys. As I said in another video recently, going to America a couple of times specifically to meet up and travel and be with YouTube people that I've met here. Those community members, whether they're still making videos or even if they're not making very many videos, they've become friends because of this, because of the interactivity that I put into it, that they put into it, that drew us together, all us like-minded individuals. As I said, I'm still meeting people now, interacting with them, whether it be here or in other parts of the internet, Facebook, Twitter, personal emails, or whatever it might be. So I haven't got any regrets about this. I would say I might change very small things, but one thing I'm very grateful for is the fact that I started doing it in the first place, and I've made lots of videos about this, about how this has changed my life, I think, in lots of different ways. It's, as I said, it's taken me to America a couple of times to meet great people that I interact with and I consider to be good friends of that, and what can be better than that? So that day, 14th of August 2006, for me was a bit of a life-changing moment. That may sound a bit bold, a bit big statement, but in lots of ways it was, and it may well be for you, and I hope that it is. Anyway, good questions, and I look forward to the next ones. Thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.